Yo, 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 welcome back everybody. It's Tanner Rocks Music, and maybe you guessed what we're talking about today. Maybe the aesthetics gave it away. But if not, we're talking about the Cleveland Browns, baby. Every Friday, we're going to be getting down with the dog pound. That means we're going to be talking about the Cleveland Browns and everything under the face of the earth, Cleveland Browns, every Friday. However, today, off season. What do they got to talk about? We got free agency, so don't worry. Off season, we'll talk about free agencies, which this video will cover. We'll talk about the trades the Browns made. We'll talk about the draft when it comes there. Everything. Training camps, signings, player activity, all that. But today we are talking about free agency moves across the whole NFL. I got my little handy-dandy paper book here so I don't forget anything and mumble, bumble, jumble. Don't be slipping. Ooh, fumbling, ooh, slipping, cause I'm falling. Anyway, so we got two parts to the free agency. The first part is the Cleveland Browns signings. The second part is the entire NFL signings. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into the Cleveland Browns free agent moves. Woo! All right, first of all, we've got on the defensive side, Quincey Williams from the Jets. The Browns signed him to a 2-year, $17 million deal. He was a top 10 off-ball backer last season, right? He's very aggressive. He's durable. In the last 3 seasons, he's played 7 seasons total. In the last 3, he's played 98% of snaps, only missed 2 games. And one of the games he started, but he didn't finish. You pair him with Carson Schlesinger, Rookie of the Year, about to be Defensive Player of the Year next year. Myles Garrett on that edge, who they're already double-teaming. You got a double-teamed Myles Garrett right here, and you got Williams coming off the edge, Schlesinger right up here. You got a divert blitz, like, oh my gosh. I wish Jim Shorts was still there because these blitz packages are going to be nutso. Absolutely amazing. But now let's get into the more efficient, more important free agent signings on the Browns' part. We don't need defense. Yeah, we can boost them up. We need offense. We need offensive line and we need receivers. That's all. Our offensive line is bottom 5. We're garbage. Our receivers led the league in drop passes and percentages of drop passes all year. The lead leader of drop passes was Jerry Jeudy, our receiver. He can't do nothing, right? We need offense. So to see the Browns attack free agency like they have this year with so much energy, emphasis, knowing what they need and going and getting it, not playing tiptoe around, oh, maybe we'll do this. Oh, we lost this deal. Maybe we'll do this. No, they're getting what they need. They signed Tytus Howard. It was technically a trade from the Texans, my bad. But Tytus Howard to Cleveland, 3-year, $63 million deal. One of the better pass blockers in the NFL. He's going to add a lot of support and protection for Shadir Sanders. And when Quinshawn comes back healthy, he's going to be helping out with creating holes for Quinshawn too. But let's focus on the pass game. That's what we need. He's a phenomenal pass blocker. I'm over the moon with this signing. I'm so happy. Next, we got Zion Johnson from the Chargers to Cleveland, and he signed with us for a 3-year, $49.5 million deal. This dude, last year, he was second in the league in run blocking. So his weakness is pass blocking. I'll say that. He's not a super efficient pass blocker. But with the signings we've made and the players we've re-signed, I think we can handle the pass blocking, especially if he just does his job, right? But he is an efficient run blocker. He ranked second in the NFL last year at run block efficiency, creating wide holes and angles for his running backs to cut through and get some yards, get a first down, keep that drive going. So I'm absolutely over the moon with this signing as well, boosting off our offensive lineman ×2, and we're just getting started. Which brings us into our next move. The Cleveland Browns signed Elgton Jenkins on a 2-year, $24 million deal. I'm spacing where he came from. I want to say the Packers, so I'm going to go with the Packers. You may not be right. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. He's a top 10 interior offensive lineman. So this dude, if you try to cut in, blitz packages are coming through the middle, this dude's cutting you off. You're not getting to the quarterback, which is what we need. We need a young Shadir Sanders to develop back there and have time to make the play. Make one read, oh, it's not open. Make another read, and then be forced to make a play. Right now, he's making one read and having to get it away immediately, right? So Elgton Jenkins, he is a phenomenal pass blocker. This dude will one-on-one. If you put him up against Myles Garrett, I ain't going to say the rest. You do your own draw your own conclusions. He's a two-time Pro Bowler as well. We're making moves. We are making heavy, heavy moves. So that was the Cleveland Browns free agency signings so far. And like I said, I'm shooting this video Thursday at about 7:30 to 8 p.m. so I can edit it and get it all ready to release tomorrow. So knowing my luck, there's probably going to be a blockbuster signing as I'm shooting this video. But as the video is shot, that's who the Cleveland Browns have signed. Quincey Williams, a linebacker. Tytus Howard, an offensive lineman. Zion Johnson, an offensive lineman. And Elton Jenkins, an offensive lineman. So far, I give the Cleveland Browns an A+ at free agency. In the past, we've known what we needed and haven't went after it with aggression. This year, we know what we need, and we went after it with aggression, and we got it. We got a new new head coach in Todd Monken, who was the offensive coordinator for Baltimore. So hopefully him and Shadir can pair up with this newly rebuilt offense and do some damage this year. One thing I will say as an honorable mention before we move on to the entire NFL free agency, I think the Cleveland Browns really would have benefited from signing Romeo Doubs, which they didn't. We'll get into later. Or from inside sources that I've heard, the Cleveland Browns are making a heavy and financial push to get Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if that happens, oh my gosh, it's an offense haven. But that's the Cleveland Browns free agency signings. So let's get into the rest of the NFL. Y'all ready? I'm going to take this. Oh yeah, y'all, I went to the Cleveland Browns game in London with my mom last year. Got a couple of signatures on it. These two actually are Andrew Hawkins, a Cleveland receiver, and Gary Barnage, a Cleveland tight end. I just got a random headache all of a sudden. Anyways, bring back out the handy dandy note sheet and talk about the rest of the NFL free agent signings. Do I want to talk about the good or the dumb first? Let's start with bad, end with good. Indianapolis Colts, you guys, congratulations. Take the ring for the dumbest team ever in free agency. Completely boneheaded, absolute baffling moves from everybody, right? Not only do they re-sign Daniel Jones on 2 years, I think it was $50-60 million deal, which is garbage. He's Daniel Jones, guys. He's Daniel Jones. He had a couple good games because the entire defense was flooding the box with 8 defenders because Jonathan Taylor was busting off for 200 yards and 5 touchdowns. Daniel Jones is not a $50 million, he's not a $20 million quarterback. Like, nah, I take Shadir Sanders every day of the week, sunshine, rain, and snow, over Daniel Jones. And they broke the bank for him? Isn't he coming off a bad injury too? Stupid. But that wasn't even the stupid. They re-signed Alec Pierce to a 4-year, $116 million deal. Money don't grow on trees, y'all. Are you really? Look, Alec Pierce had one season. He's been in the league 4 years. He had one season over 1,000 yards. And that one season he's had over by 3 yards, 1,003. Everything else has been 800, 600, and I think 500. He's not it. He's consistent. He can catch your passes, but the inconsistency comes in the overall play. He'll have a game where he goes crazy, 175, 2 touchdowns. Then he'll have a game where he goes 13 yards and a fumble. Then he'll 27 yards and no touchdown, and then 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that inconsistency is definitely not worth $116 million. Indianapolis Colts, your free agent grading so far is an F. Big, fat F. Which there's one more kind of idiotic free agent signing I want to talk about. But before that, I want to compare this Alec Pierce re-signing to the Ravens signing Trey Hendrickson. And we'll get into all that drama about the Ravens and Max Crosby and all that later. But the Ravens signed, and get this, Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year deal. That's exactly how long Alec Pierce was. But Trey Hendrickson got $112 million. Alec Pierce got $116. What? And who's making these calls, man? Like, sign me up as the GM for the Colts. I promise you, I'm the GM for the Colts. This move ain't happening. We're saving that money, man. Like, oh my gosh. And I'd be livid if I was Hendrickson. Like, I know they're different players, different positions, but if you look at it objectively, Trey Hendrickson is far, leaps and bounds, far better at his position than Alex Pierce is at his. So the fact they got the same amount of length of deal year-wise, but Hendrickson got $4 million less, I'm baffled. Indianapolis sucks. So before getting into the Baltimore one, I want to talk about the other kind of boneheaded free agency move by the team, not the player. Mike Evans going to the Niners. Look, Mike Evans, hands down, first ballot Hall of Famer, 11 consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards. He is the GOAT. He is the definition of consistency. I talked about how Alec Pierce was inconsistent. Mike Evans is consistent. He is that guy. He's coming off an injury. He's getting older in his life. I think he's 31 or 32. And San Francisco signed him for 3 years, $60 million. Well, 60.5 to be exact. I just don't think he's worth that much money. I think you could save money and sign pieces that you need more. You need to stock up that secondary right now. You need to make sure Fred Warner comes back healthy. And if he doesn't, or if he needs a little bit of help, you need to get another linebacker. You need to get more pressure on the defensive line. Like, you've got Christian McCaffrey. Receiver, maybe. But, like, Christian McCaffrey's Mr. Do-It-All. You need to spend that money, and Mike Evans is not the receiver you needed. The Niners need, I know they lost Ayuk, but they need more. They need young. They don't need a 32-year-old receiver for $60 million. But again, I love Mike Evans, but I just think it wasn't the smartest move for San Francisco, and I give them a D+ for their free agency moves so far in the first week. Now let's get into the drama between the Raiders, Max Crosby, and the Ravens. So Max Crosby originally signed with the Ravens. 3 years, $106.5 million. He was in the building, he was ready, and the Ravens said he failed his physical. They nixed the deal. So now the Ravens don't have Max Crosby, and he's back on the Raiders, right? But what no one's seen was the chess game that the Ravens were playing. They played the game of chess, and they got the checkmate they wanted, 100%. Signing Max Crosby, that $106 million deal, you'd had to give up 2 first rounds, right? Regardless of everything else, 2 first rounds. Or you could pay someone $5 more million through the span of 4 years and save your 2 first rounds. And that player, in my opinion, is better than the other player. I truly believe Trey Hendrickson is better than Max Crosby. I'd rather have a prime-time, energetic, efficient Trey Hendrickson than Max Crosby. But the Ravens got Trey Hendrickson. So right there, that's an A+ for that game of chess they got. However, where their overall free agency grade goes down for me, and I'm going to give them an overall B-, is because they let Tyler Linderbaum walk away. I don't know the ins and outs. Maybe he was done with the Ravens. Maybe he wanted to stay, but they didn't work out a deal. And now Lamar Jackson's getting older, coming off an injury. You got Derrick Henry, who's getting older, and like he's always consistent, but I mean, he's Derrick Henry. You don't got a solid receiver. You got Zay Flowers, who's a small dude. You don't got a power receiver. Now you're losing your best piece of your line that was protecting Lamar. It might be hot for the Ravens, which is good news for the Browns. Next big free agency move that I'd like to talk about. Let's see. How do I line these up? Let's go Romeo Doubs. Like I said, I wish Romeo Doubs could have worked something out with Cleveland. We didn't make a push for him, but he signed with the New England Patriots, 4 years, $80 million. Drake May and the Patriots were just in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying Romeo Doubs would have had any effect on the outcome of the Super Bowl, but it would have given Drake May a little more confidence and comfortability in knowing he had another receiver to toss it to who's a solid receiver. So that one, I give the Patriots about a B average. They didn't win drastically, but they definitely didn't lose with that one. Isaiah Pacheco going from Kansas City to Detroit on a 1 year, $1.8 million deal. Detroit, you get a C. You already have Jahmyr Gibbs. You lost David Montgomery. I think he went to the Texans. But you don't need that 1-2 punch. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, but that 1-2 punch is all right. So about middle of the pack for that one. Let's keep it at the Chiefs. And sorry for you Seahawks fans, but the Chiefs acquired Kenneth Walker, and the Seahawks lost Kenneth Walker. Patrick Mahomes is coming off an injury, getting older. The Chiefs re-signed Travis Kelce, but he's getting older too. Retirements in the next year. I would say. Kenneth Walker, the addition of Kenneth Walker gives Patrick Mahomes a lot more comfortability because the pressure is not going to be on Mahomes to do all the work. Like, right, if they flood the box, then yeah, Mahomes will step back and he'll dump it off for a 10, 15, maybe touchdown pass. Now they step back in coverage, and they got Kenneth Walker to shred all over him, the reigning Super Bowl MVP. So I think for that move, the Kansas City Chiefs receive a B+, because it was a good upgrade from Isaiah Pacheco to get Kenneth Walker. The Chiefs always get me bored, so I'm yawning. I hate the Chiefs. But where the Chiefs lost big time, and where the Seahawks also lost big time, is the Chiefs could not agree to a deal with Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie signed with the Rams. 4 years, $124 million, making him the highest paid corner in NFL history. Chiefs, that's an F. You can't let that man walk. Your defense already needs help, right? Seahawks, you lost on that one too, because McDuffie's going to the Rams. You already lost Kenneth Walker. Now Sammy D is going to have to rely on JSN and his speed. And JSN ain't a big dude. He's a phenomenal receiver. Hands down, phenomenal receiver. But is he injury prone? Is a big hit going to cause him to go out? And if he does go out, can the Seahawks win without him? Because that defense is going to have to do everything. It's honestly, I think this next year Seattle is going to look like the Cleveland Browns last year. Their defense is phenomenal. Their defense is great. Maybe even setting records. But their offense can't pull it together enough to get enough points to win. Because Trent McDuffie, I think, truly is better at his position than JSN is at his. Hate me all you want. I think Trent McDuffie is going to shut down JSN. And I think that deal right there is going to solidify and be the difference for the Rams winning the NFC West compared to the Seahawks. So, there have been some wild moves. A couple of honorable mentions I want to, not really, well, Travis Etienne, I always mess it up. 4 years, $52 million with the Saints. I think it was great on the Saints' part. I get an A for that one. But come on, you gotta be real now. You gotta fix that quarterback issue at Saints first before you can, like, you still rolling in with Rattler, that they're gonna key that box with 8 people sharp, and Etienne ain't gonna get nothing. You gotta get a solid quarterback before Etienne is even able to do nothing on the Saints. You got Tua concussion Vailoa, signing with the Falcons with busted joint limb Penix. So the Falcons are shot. They're done. They're getting the first draft pick next year. It is what it is. But yeah, those were the free agency moves that were made this last week that were huge, significant, blockbuster in either a stupid financial way like the Colts and possibly the Niners, or a very smart way like the Ravens, playing chess what they wanted to do, or like the Browns, knowing what they needed to get and going after it and acquiring what they need. So today we've been getting down with the Dawg Pound on Friday, and this was me chatting about the Cleveland Browns free agency moves, the NFL free agency moves, and I'm not sure if next week I might do another free agency one, but we'll keep that up in the air. But every single Friday, y'all, we are doing Getting Down with the Dawg Pound. So come ready to listen, come ready to talk, bring your opinions, leave in the comments any and everything you want me to know, you want everybody else to know, questions, comments. Maybe you hate the Browns. Cool, throw it down there. I'm not judging anybody. It's all love and respect. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you thought of the video, what you think of all the free agency moves. And I want to hear from you guys too. Who do you think in the first week of free agency had the best signings and had the worst signings? I think the Colts had the worst by far, and it's a tie between the Ravens and the Browns for the best. So, yeah, much love and much respects, everybody. Until next time, Aux unplugging.